Today, I'm going to be helping you to figure out what you want out of the next 6 months of 2025 or whatever year you may be watching this. And I'm also going to help you to figure out a plan to make those things happen. Because again, not only do you need the vision, but you have to have a plan. These things do not just happen by happenstance. The things you want are not just going to fall out of the sky. You have to work towards those things. Hey girl, welcome or welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Trinity, and today we're going to be continuing our July series on reclaiming 2025. All month long, we're going to be focusing on your mid-year glow up. I decided to create this series because I know that this point in the year, like that June, July mark, is when a lot of people start to get discouraged. And it starts to feel like, wow, time has gotten away from me, the year has gotten away from me. I can't believe 6 months have gone by already. I don't have anything to show for it. I have not accomplished any of the things on my vision board. And I know that this is the time of year where a lot of people start to feel like, I need a turnaround. I need something to happen so that I can end this year better than I started it. Last week we talked about the mindset shift that needs to occur in order for you to really make a difference or make the decision to make a difference in the last 6 months of the year. If you did not see episode 1, I will link that in the description box so you can watch that either after this one or you can go watch that now and then come back to this one. And today for week 2, we are going deeper. We're talking about refocusing and realigning. This is going to be a very crucial part of your mid-year glow up because before you can start creating routines and changing habits, you need clarity on where you're going. You need clarity on what your vision is for the rest of the year. This video is going to be part pep talk and part planning session. And by the end of this video, you should have a clear mid-year vision on what you want the next 6 months to look like and what you want to accomplish by December 31st. And not only will you have a clear vision on what you want to accomplish, but you'll also have a clear plan that will allow you to bring those things to life. Now, like I said, today's video is going to be super duper helpful for you and it's going to be super crucial to your mid-year glow up because this is the part that a lot of people miss in life, period. Not just for their mid-year glow up, not even just for their new year glow up, but just in life. Believe it or not, there are so many people going through life aimlessly. So many people are just waking up every day, winging it, doing whatever, and hoping to get good results. They're hoping to be happy with the life that they end up having because they expect things to just happen. But I'm here today to tell you that life does not just happen. You have to make life happen. And in order to make life happen, you have to know what you want your life to look like. And you have to be very specific about it. When you are not specific and clear about your goals and what you want for life, what you want out of relationships, what you want out of your career, if you don't have a vision for your family, for your business, you will end up with whatever life gives you. I don't know about you, but I don't want whatever life throws at me. I don't want to just take whatever life gives me. I have a good idea of what my dream self looks like, what my dream life looks like. And having that idea allows me to shift things in my life, shift my routines, shift my daily habits so that I'm always on the path to get to what I actually want. When you're clear on things like how much money you want to make, what you want your family structure to look like, what type of marriage you want to be in, what type of partner you want to have, what kind of home you want to live in, what kind of school system you want your kids to be in, what kind of school you want your kids to go to. Do you want them to go to public school or private school? Like when you're so clear on all these things, they determine the decisions that you make in life. Someone who wants their child to go to private school is probably going to move a little different than someone who's okay with their child going to public school because that's another expense. That's something that they have to pay for. They have to be able to afford the tuition for their child to go to that school. What you want out of life determines how you move. I'm gonna say it again. What you want out of life determines how you move. So today I'm going to be helping you to figure out what you want out of the next 6 months of 2025 or whatever year you may be watching this. And I'm also going to help you to figure out a plan to make those things happen. Because again, not only do you need the vision, but you have to have a plan. These things do not just happen by happenstance. The things you want are not just going to fall out of the sky. You have to work towards those things. Okay, so first things first, we're going to reflect on the first 6 months of the year. Notice I didn't say start with judgment and shame. I just said reflect. Simply look at the facts. This is going to bring you some awareness, which is super duper important because you cannot realign if you don't know what fell off in the first place. When you don't know what's working and what's not working, you can't shift and adjust in order to make sure you have success. So here are a few questions that you should ask yourself. This is actually a good time to pull out a journal, notebook, whatever, so that you can actually write these things down. All right, so question number 1, what felt right? Like, what are some things that you did well in the first 6 months? What made you feel good? What made you happy? Question number 2, what felt heavy, frustrating, or draining? Question number 3, how did I abandon myself? You don't have to answer these questions any particular way. Whatever comes to your mind when you hear these questions is what you need to write down, because it varies for everyone. Question number 4, what patterns kept showing up? Maybe you found yourself constantly running into the same financial issues over and over again. Maybe you were late for work almost every day. Maybe you noticed that you would do well with your morning routine for 2 weeks and then you would fall off for another 2 weeks and you would jump back in for another 2 weeks. And when you think of this last question, I want you to think mentally, physically, financially, and emotionally. And again, the purpose for answering these questions is to gain understanding and self-awareness. This is not to punish yourself, judge yourself, shame yourself. You just need the facts. You need to know exactly what went wrong and or what went right in the first 6 months so that you can bring the good stuff over and leave the bad stuff in the past. I also want to add that it's really important to make sure you are writing out the good things that happened, the good habits that you formed, the good routines that you created, things that you actually did accomplish, because it is very easy to reflect on the last 6 months and be like, I didn't do this, this, and this. I failed at this, this, and this. This, and this didn't happen. It's very easy to focus on that. And maybe you focus on those bad things because you're just looking at what you had on the vision board, what you had on your goals list. But I'm pretty sure there are some things that you've accomplished that probably just weren't on the vision board. And that is okay. Don't beat yourself up just because you didn't accomplish what you sought out to accomplish. If you accomplished other things, that's fine. Maybe your priorities shifted. Maybe things came up and became more important to you. Like I said in last week's video, when you set your 2025 goals, or whatever year you're watching this again, you didn't know exactly what was going to happen this year. You didn't know that priorities were going to have to shift and you were going to have to put some things on hold. You didn't know that you were going to be in a completely different mental space in March than where you were in January. So try not to focus too much on the bad. Make sure you throw some good in there, but also be honest with yourself about the things that you did not do well. Okay, now once you've reflected without judgment and shame, I want you to define your desired feelings. A lot of people focus on what they want, like tangible things or like goals that they want to accomplish. But I find that it's very helpful to start with how you want to feel. How do you want to feel by December 31st? And it might help to think about how you feel right now. Do you feel unaccomplished? Do you feel unsuccessful? Do you feel like you're behind? Do you feel stressed, overwhelmed? Do you feel like you're just all over the place? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling depressed? Are you feeling sad? Maybe you feel happy. I mean, I don't want to just assume that you feel so bad about your last 6 months, because you don't have to feel bad in order to try to make a change. But I do want you to really just think about how you want to feel by December 31st. And I say that you should start with a feeling, because how you want to feel will determine what goals you set for yourself and what plan you create to make those goals happen. Hopefully you follow me. Some helpful questions to ask during this step are simply, how do you want to feel by December 31st? What do you want your energy to feel like when you wake up every morning? And how do you want to see yourself whenever you look in the mirror? Whatever feelings you come up with are your anchor feelings. And the goals that we're going to set later on are going to help you to create these feelings. Not chase them, but create them. I mean, let's be honest. You clicked on this video because of a feeling. You have this feeling that makes you want to make a change for the next 6 months of the year. You feel one way right now, but you wish you felt another way. So start with that feeling instead of what you want. For example, a few months ago, I realized that my mornings were super duper stressful. All I felt was stress. By the time I was walking out the door to take my son to school, my mind was just going like this. And I hated that feeling. I thought about how I used to feel in the mornings before I became a mom and how calm and peaceful my mornings were. And I realized that I didn't have to deprive myself of slow mornings or calm mornings just because I now have a child. No, I have to find a way to get that feeling back. How can I make my mornings less stressful? Because I recognized the feeling that I wanted to have, I was able to build a morning routine that gave me that feeling. Instead of binge watching a bunch of TikToks and YouTube videos of other girls' morning routines and just taking what they do and applying it to my own life, I'm able to formulate a routine that works for me based off of how I want to feel. Okay, next step. I want you to pick 3 goals that you're going to focus on for the rest of the year. I know somebody's probably watching this like, 3? I got about 10 things in mind. Well, I want you to pick 3. Now, the good thing is, if you accomplish the 3, you can add more. But I want you to become really, really clear on the 3 things that will make you feel accomplish by the end of the year? If you don't accomplish anything else, what are 3 things that will make you happy? What are 3 things that will cause the biggest shift in your life? And I said this in last week's video, but this is why I love the mid-year reset. In the beginning of the year, we feel like we have so much time. We have 12 months. That's a lot of time. 365 days is a lot of time. But feeling like we have a whole lot of time causes us to try to cram a bunch of things into what seems like a lot of time. And we start cramming in unnecessary things. I want you to really think about this. Like, look at your 2025 vision board. And I really want you to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, do I really need to accomplish all this stuff before the year's over? A lot of the time, the answer is no. I think a lot of people make the mistake, well, I don't really know if I want to call it a mistake, but a lot of people have a list of like their life goals, and they feel like they have to put all those life goals on their vision board every single year until they accomplish those things. Now, what I think is more helpful is creating a vision board for your whole life and then taking things from that board and putting it on another board for each year. You don't have to focus on all your life goals and try to accomplish them in 12 months. I don't want to say it's not possible, but it's a little unrealistic if we're being honest. So I just want you to pick 3 things. And again, look at the vision board that you already created for this year, because you may take some things from there, but you also may have some other goals that you didn't even put on there, because again, maybe your priorities have changed since the beginning of the year. And when you're choosing these goals, I want you to be very, very specific. Maybe the goals that you set at the beginning of the year were not specific enough. That could be another reason why you're not where you want to be. We gotta stop being so broad and so vague with our goals. What exactly do you want to accomplish by December 31st? Instead of saying, I want to be healthy, say, I want to move my body 4 times a week. That's something that you can actually measure. Instead of saying, I want to make more money, say, I want to make $5,000 a month from this. Because get healthy and make more money are way too vague. If you tell yourself, I want to make more money in July, more money could be $20 more than you made in June, but I'm pretty sure that's not what you meant. So you got to be really, really specific, because you can only create a plan and be intentional about something specific. When you know exactly how much money you want to make in a month, you're able to sit down and say, okay, this is the goal. How can I work backwards to get there? What type of jobs do I need to do? What type of side hustles do I need to be able to get me to that $5,000 in a month? Specific goals allow you to make specific moves in a specific direction. All right, so once you've picked your 3 goals that you want to focus on, you can start building your 90-day mini vision. Like I said earlier, a year is way too overwhelming, but 90 days, you could do that easily. So this is what I am doing personally. You don't have to do it exactly like this. Maybe you want to break your goals down in another way, but I am using July as my reset. Because again, we're talking 90 days, so that's 3 months, July, August, September. During your reset, you want to focus on alignment, small habits, and detoxing your environment. When you're realigning during your reset month, you're doing that mindset shift that we talked about last week. You're also figuring out what exactly you want out of these next 90 days, like we're talking about in today's episode. Writing the vision, making the plan, creating the plan, and then implementing the small habits throughout your daily routines that allow you to reach your goals. August is where you build. During the building stage, you want to lean more into consistency and structure. Doing the things when you don't feel like it, because in July, you may have started the habits, started the routines, but after a month, that motivation is probably going to wear off. And at that point, you're relying on discipline and just trying to be consistent even when you don't feel like doing the thing. Building structure that allows you to be consistent. And then in September, you're focusing on expanding, pushing forward and stepping into more bold action. So you're doing a little bit more than you did in July and August, taking the extra step now that you pretty much have a well-oiled machine. You don't have to focus on this next 6 months as a whole. You can, as far as like where you want to be, but the plan that you create can be for the next 90 days. Start with a 90-day plan, and lucky for you, there's another 90 days after that for you to make adjustments as needed. But whatever your plan is, however you decide to do this, make sure your plan is simple and doable. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with a whole bunch of stuff. You don't want to try to change your life in one night. I know a lot of people will try to implement 15 new habits overnight. It's not really sustainable, because you want to do something that you're able to be consistent with. If you're throwing in a whole bunch of new things at once, that's going to be hard, because right now, it sounds nice just because you have the motivation, but this motivation is going to wear off. So keep it simple. Make sure your plan is something that is sustainable for you and your lifestyle. Not what you see everyone else doing, but something that actually works for you. And last but not least, it's time to make your mid-year vision board. I'm a big believer in vision boards. If you're not new to my channel, then you already know that. I keep mine on my lock screen of my phone all year. But something I started doing, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, is switching up my vision board once I get to that mid-year point. Because again, this is the perfect time to reflect and see what's working, what's not working, and to also basically have a meeting with yourself, like, have my goals changed? Have my priorities changed? For a lot of people, things have changed. Your goals have changed since January. I use Pinterest and Canva to create my vision boards. And I have a whole video on this. I'll link it down below. But in short, you want to start off with the goals that you want to accomplish. Whenever I talk about vision boards, I always talk about how people make the mistake of flipping through magazines or scrolling through Pinterest, scrolling through Instagram, or whatever you're looking to for inspiration. They look through those pictures and just wait for something to stick out at them. And then they say, okay, I like this. I think this is my dream car. I'm going to pick this. I think this is my dream house. I'm going to pick this. No, you need to have something specific in mind before you start looking. That way, when you're looking, you're picking out the thing that you had in mind. You're picking out what you already want. Have a clear vision first. Look for the photos that represent that, the energy that you want to bring, the energy that you want to have, the lifestyle you want to live, the things you want to accomplish. Find photos that represent those things and make your vision board out of that. But I like to do the digital thing. I like to make my lock screen on my phone, my lock screen on my iPad, the background on my laptop. I love having my vision board on my phone because I'm constantly looking at my phone. I'm constantly seeing whatever is on my lock screen, whatever's on my home screen. And it serves as a subconscious reminder of what I want out of life. You are literally reprogramming your identity when you create your vision board. The good thing about a mid-year reset is that you're starting from experience and not starting from scratch. You're looking at the last 6 months and saying, what worked for me? What didn't work for me? And you're able to carry those things into the next 6 months. It's kind of like you're making tweaks instead of trying to start something completely new. Now, some people may feel like they're starting over, but even if you feel that way, that's not necessarily what you're doing. You are learning from experience. You are starting with experience. If you made it to the end of this video, I want you to comment one thing you're working on this quarter. Not necessarily in the next 6 months, but something that you are going to be actively working on in July, August, and September to help you to end the year better than you started. Again, if you have not seen episode 1 of this series, I will link it down below in the description box. And next week, we're going to be talking all about the habits that will change the second half of your year. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this with someone who needs it, and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss a video, especially in this series. Bye. I'm just hoping I don't be his